Have you ever wondered why some individuals become millionaires seemingly overnight, thanks to multi-level marketing, while others lose everything? It's a question that's puzzled many, and it's the glittering allure of this business model that draws people in. Multi-level marketing, or MLM as it's more commonly known, is a strategy that some direct sales companies use to encourage existing distributors to recruit new distributors. In MLM schemes, you can make money by selling products or services and by recruiting more members. It's often painted as a fast track to wealth and independence, offering you the chance to be your own boss, set your own hours, and potentially earn a significant income. Imagine the appeal of such a proposition, the promise of a life where you're no longer shackled by the 9-to-5 grind, a life where you're in control. It's a tantalizing prospect, isn't it? You're told you can achieve financial freedom, all from the comfort of your own home, and all you need to do is sell a product you believe in and convince others to do the same. The basic structure of MLMs is fairly simple. You start by investing a small amount of money to become a distributor. From there, you sell products and recruit others to do the same. The more people you recruit and the more they sell, the more money you stand to make. It sounds pretty straightforward, right? But here's the catch. The promise of MLMs often far outshines the reality. The reality is that the majority of people who participate in MLM schemes make little to no money, and many even lose money. So the question becomes, why do so many people get involved in MLMs despite the odds? The answer lies in the glittering promise of MLMs. The promise of wealth, independence, and the chance to be your own boss. But is this glittering promise of wealth and independence a golden opportunity, or is it a fool's gold? To understand the controversy, we must first understand the structure of a typical MLM. Let's imagine a pyramid. At the top is the founder or the company selling a product or service. This is the first level. Now this person recruits 2 other people to sell the same product, forming the second level. These 2 new recruits buy the product from the founder and sell it on their own. But here's the catch. The founder encourages these recruits not only to sell the product, but also to bring in more people under them. This creates a third level. The new recruits also buy the product from those above them and sell it, while recruiting more people. This process continues with each person recruiting more people, and those people recruiting even more. The pyramid grows larger and larger at the base. This is where the term multi-level comes from, as there are multiple levels of people recruiting and selling. The emphasis in MLMs is on recruitment. Yes, there is a product or service involved, but the real money is made by bringing in more recruits. Each recruit is a new customer buying the product and a new salesperson selling the product and recruiting more people. Here's the thing. The people at the top of the pyramid, those who got in early, make the most money. They earn from their sales and the sales of everyone beneath them. The people at the bottom, however, have a much harder time. They're buying the product, but there's no guarantee they'll be able to sell it or recruit others. This is the fundamental structure of an MLM. It's a model that rewards those at the top and leaves those at the bottom struggling to break even. This structure, while seemingly simple, is where the controversy begins. Now that we understand the structure, let's unravel the hidden truth behind MLMs. The world of multi-level marketing, or MLMs as they're often called, is one that's shrouded in glitz and glamour. With promises of financial freedom, luxury cars, and dream vacations, it's no wonder that so many people are drawn in. But beneath the surface, there's a much darker reality. The statistics and facts surrounding these organizations are truly staggering. The Federal Trade Commission conducted a study revealing that over 99% of those involved in MLMs make no significant profit. Yes, you heard that right. Over 99%. That's almost everyone involved. But it doesn't end there. Not only do the majority fail to make a profit, many actually end up losing money. According to the same study, over half of all participants drop out within the first year due to financial loss. These are hardworking individuals who were promised a dream, only to be left with a nightmare. While the top 1% bask in the profits, the majority are left struggling, often in debt. This isn't a business model that thrives on the success of its participants. Rather, it thrives on their failure. It's a system that's fundamentally designed to benefit the few at the top, at the expense of the many at the bottom. This isn't just a theory, it's a fact that's been researched, studied, and documented by numerous credible sources. It's a fact that's been hidden behind the flashy cars, the luxury vacations, and the promise of financial freedom. The truth of the matter is that MLMs are not the golden ticket they're made out to be. They're not a fast track to wealth and success. Instead, they're a fast track to financial hardship for the vast majority of those involved. The numbers don't lie, and they paint a grim picture. But who are the people caught in this web of deception? Picture this: Sarah, a single mother of two, struggling to make ends meet. She stumbles upon an opportunity that promises a chance to work from home, earn a substantial income, and provide a better life for her children. The prospect of financial freedom lures her in, and Sarah invests her hard-earned savings into a multi-level marketing scheme, hoping to turn her life around. Then we have John, a retired military veteran who's looking for a way to supplement his pension. He's enticed by the camaraderie and the promise of easy money that MLMs sell. John sinks his pension funds into the MLM, expecting to build a nest egg for his golden years. These individuals, like many others, are the victims of the MLM industry. They're often vulnerable, looking for ways to improve their financial situation. They're lured in by the promise of easy money, flexible hours, and the dream of being their own boss. But the reality is often harsh and unforgiving. Sarah, despite her best efforts, finds herself unable to sell the products. The promised support system is non-existent, and the initial investment she made is lost, leaving her in a worse financial situation than before. John, on the other hand, finds himself alienated from friends and family, as he's encouraged to turn them into potential customers or recruits. The nest egg he hoped to build dwindles away, leaving him with nothing but regret. These stories are not unique. They're repeated thousands of times over across the globe. They're the stories of people who were lured into the MLM industry with promises of wealth and independence, only to find themselves in a cycle of debt and disappointment. These are the real faces of the MLM industry, the ones you don't see in the glossy brochures. But what about the people at the top, the ones who make a fortune? Let's delve into the experiences of these successful multi-level marketing participants. You might have heard about them, these so-called industry giants who seem to have hit the jackpot with MLM. It's these stories that are often showcased as shining examples, a beacon of hope for aspiring entrepreneurs. But let's take a closer look, shall we? These successful individuals, the ones with the fancy cars and lavish lifestyles, are the pinnacle of the MLM pyramid. They've climbed their way to the top, reaping the rewards of countless others' hard work. But here's the kicker. They represent a minuscule percentage of those involved in MLM. We're talking about less than 1%. Yes, you heard that right. Less than 1% of participants in multi-level marketing actually turn a significant profit. The rest? Well, they're left grappling with the harsh reality of lost investments and broken dreams. So while it may seem like these top earners are living the dream, it's crucial to remember that they are the exception, not the rule. These big players, the ones raking in the big bucks, have often been part of the MLM world for years, if not decades. They've built expansive networks, exploiting the hopes and dreams of their recruits. Their success isn't a testament to the viability of MLM as a business model, but rather a reflection of their ability to sell the illusion of prosperity to others. So the next time you hear about someone striking it rich through MLM, take a moment to consider the bigger picture. For every success story, there are thousands of others who have been left in the financial ruin, their stories unheard and unnoticed. The success stories are few and far between, drowned out by the voices of those who have lost. How do MLMs continue to operate in the face of such controversy? It's a question that perplexes many. The answer lies in the murky waters of legal intricacies and technicalities that allow multi-level marketing schemes to thrive. The law, in its most fundamental form, is designed to protect the innocent and punish the guilty. But what happens when the lines between guilt and innocence become blurred? Welcome to the world of MLMs, a world that exists in a legal gray area. Now, you might be wondering, what does a legal gray area even mean? Well, let's break it down. A legal gray area refers to a situation where the boundaries of law are not clearly defined, or where there is no specific legislation regulating a particular issue. When it comes to MLMs, this gray area is exploited to the fullest. MLM companies often circumvent regulations by presenting themselves as direct sales organizations. They argue that their business model is based on selling products, not recruiting people, which technically keeps them within the bounds of the law. But here's where it gets interesting. While it's true that MLMs do sell products, the main income for participants often comes not from the sale of these products, but from the recruitment of new members into the scheme. This is where the lines become blurred and the legal gray area comes into play. This gray area allows MLMs to continue their operations, often under the radar of regulatory bodies. It's a delicate balancing act, a tightrope walk on the thin line between legality and illegality. And it's this ambiguity that allows MLMs to thrive, despite the countless controversies surrounding them. The law is a complex creature, filled with nuances and subtleties. It's not always a matter of black and white, right or wrong. And when it comes to MLMs, the law becomes even more convoluted. The law is not always black and white, and in the case of MLMs, it's a murky gray. Why do people continue to fall for MLM scams? It's a question that baffles many. However, the answer lies not in logic, but in psychology. Multi-level marketing schemes employ a variety of psychological tactics to ensnare their prey, and today, we're going to shine a light on these devious strategies. First off, let's talk about social pressure. MLMs often use the allure of belonging to a community as a recruitment tool. They create an environment where people feel connected, where they feel like they're part of something bigger than themselves. This sense of community is intoxicating, and it's a powerful motivator. Next up, false promises. MLMs are notorious for their grandiose claims of wealth and success. They paint a picture of a future where financial worries are a thing of the past, where you're your own boss, living the high life. These promises prey on people's dreams, their desires for a better life. But more often than not, these are just empty words, a mirage designed to lure you in. Lastly, MLMs are masters of manipulation. They use a variety of tactics to keep their members committed and fiercely loyal. They instill a fear of missing out. They encourage members to cut off naysayers, and they create an us versus them mentality. These tactics are designed to isolate members from their support systems, to make them wholly dependent on the MLM. So you see, MLMs are not just business structures, they are manipulative machines. They use psychology as a weapon, exploiting our most basic human needs and desires. They promise a better life, only to leave their victims in financial ruin and emotional distress. And that's why it's so important to educate ourselves, to be aware of these tactics, so we can protect ourselves and our loved ones. MLMs are not just business structures, they are manipulative machines. So what can we learn from this deep dive into the world of MLMs? First and foremost, it's important to understand that the glittering promises of multi-level marketing companies often hide a harsh reality. The structure of MLMs is inherently flawed. It is designed in such a way that benefits only those at the very top, while the majority at the bottom struggle to make ends meet. We've learned that MLMs often operate in a legal gray area. They use certain loopholes in the law to perpetuate their operations. It is not illegal per se, but the ethicality is in question. They often camouflage their true nature behind the facade of direct selling, which is a legitimate business model. The victims of MLMs are often lured in by the promise of easy money and flexible hours. MLMs target those in desperate situations, exploiting their vulnerabilities. It's not just about the financial loss, but also the emotional toll it takes on individuals and families. We've also discovered the psychological tactics employed by MLMs. They often use peer pressure, guilt, and a false sense of community to manipulate their recruits. They create an environment where questioning or criticism is frowned upon, thereby stifling any doubts or concerns that may arise. The big players in the MLM industry often have a significant influence and resources. They use this to their advantage to maintain their operations and to quell any opposition or criticism. It's a David versus Goliath situation, and unfortunately, Goliath often wins. The key takeaway here is the importance of critical thinking and research. Before joining an MLM, it's crucial to do your homework. Don't just take their word for it. Look for unbiased sources, talk to former members, and understand the risks involved. And finally, let's not forget the age-old wisdom. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. This is particularly applicable to MLMs. So next time you come across an opportunity that promises easy money, remember this discussion and think twice. Now that you know the truth about MLMs, what can you do? The reality is, the more people that are aware of the pitfalls and dangers of multi-level marketing scams, the harder it becomes for these schemes to thrive. So one of the most impactful steps you can take is to share this information. Talk about it with your friends, your family, your colleagues. Use the power of your voice and your social platforms to spread the word. But there's more. If you suspect you've encountered an MLM scam, or if you or someone you know has fallen victim to one, there are resources available to help. Many countries have agencies dedicated to cracking down on fraudulent business practices, like the Federal Trade Commission in the United States. These organizations often have online portals where you can report scams, and they provide educational resources to help you identify and avoid falling prey to these schemes. And let's not forget about the victims. The fallout from getting entangled in an MLM scam can be devastating, financially and emotionally. But remember, there's no shame in being deceived by these highly manipulative operations. There are support groups, both online and in person, where victims can share their experiences, learn from each other, and start to rebuild. Finally, arm yourself with knowledge. Stay informed about the latest scams and tactics being used. Follow consumer protection blogs, subscribe to newsletters, and regularly check in with reputable news sources. Knowledge is power. Use it to protect yourself and others from MLM scams.